Hi everyone, Akash Verma this side, and welcome to another episode of PharmaQuest. In this video, we'll be interviewing Ravi Teja, who's from NIPER Mohali Pharmacy Practice, and he'll be telling about many aspects and the scope and the pros and cons of joining pharmacy practice. तो काफी सारी चीजें वो बताने वाले हैं, and make sure करना that you watch this video. You know, throughout you'll be getting many outputs from this video. So. If you feel this video is helping you, please reach out to us and we'll also try to connect to other branch people also. So, welcome Ravi Teja, and we are very glad to have you here.
Hello, Akash. Thank you for actually calling me to your YouTube platform, and a very good afternoon to you all again.
Yeah.
Okay, now, as a part of this video, that the purpose of calling me is to talk about my department, pharmacy practice department, and I would be glad to talk about my department, which I have been a part of that department 2 years from the last 2 years.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Akash.
Yeah, sure. I think you'll be taking many learnings from Ravi sir today. So the first question that I want to ask, did you choose like a pharmacy practice, and like what was the main reason for choosing pharmacy practice? Because we already know that okay, pharmacy practice is all about, it's basically very indigenous to pharma, and we are going to hospitals also, community hospitals and various things. So was the main attractive factor because you will be getting working, in the hospitals only? So was that the main attractive factor for you to join pharmacy practice?
For me,
Yeah.
actually, I'll say that while taking the pharmacy practice as an option, I have three, four options in my hand at that time while selecting my department of choice in the NIPER counseling.
Hmm.
The Those are pharmacy practice, clinical research, and informatics.
Hmm.
Now I have to weigh up which one is the best one. Then I contacted a few of the students in NIPER Mohali. Then I come to know about pros and cons of each department. Then I come to know about my pharmacy practice department, where actually students go to hospital for doing the project works and even for collecting case records also. Apart from this, there is one more thing that most of the students doesn't know about it. There is one field called HEOR.
Okay.
This HEOR is actually a new domain in India. Actually, it is already developed and everything is going on in a higher level in the developed countries, which we call healthcare reimbursement. That's a different part. That is actually not well developed in the Indian health sector.
Okay.
But these students who have a good knowledge in health economics or HEOR, they are actually getting into this course of pharmacy practice, which actually makes us familiar with HEOR. That is a separate domain. Then I come to know pharmacy practice in NIPER Mohali have some courses that are related to that HEOR in its curriculum. Then I came to know, yeah, this is the best option. So instead of sticking to the wet labs, for example, pharmacology or biotechnology, which actually focuses on research and development or QC QA. So I thought of getting into some new area where I can get more opportunities. And that is the actual driving force of mine, which made me to select pharmacy practice.
Okay. So I think I can totally understand that you had your pre-research before joining NIPER Mohali. You know, you were
Yeah.
talking about many terms, and guys, all of you who are watching this interview, they can learn really from Ravi sir, that when you're going for NIPER, any NIPER doesn't matter. You should do your pre-research in order to get there. Like things that matter. So he did his research, and now he's loving his branch. So now, specifically, if I have to talk about pharmacy practice, so can you tell me like how many NIPERs are having it right now? If you have any knowledge like regarding this?
Yeah, actually, I can tell that out of seven NIPERs, three
Yeah.
NIPERs have pharmacy practice. One is NIPER Mohali, the other one is NIPER Guwahati, and the other one is NIPER Hajipur.
Okay. Okay. So
These
my
three
okay.
NIPERs have pharmacy practice.
Okay. Okay. So my next question roots from there only, like how is pharmacy practice at NIPER Mohali?
Yeah, I can say pharmacy practice is going well in all the NIPERs, but when it comes to NIPER Mohali has a good set of collaborations with hospitals. When you talk about the collaborations, you see PGIMR, which is the the top most college, medical college in
Hmm.
India, and also one more private hospital which is called Fortis. NIPER
Okay.
Mohali has collaborations with these two hospitals. So students of NIPER Mohali Pharmacy Practice Department, they
Hmm.
actually work in these two hospitals
Hmm.
where they'll get exposure to different kinds of diseases. So it's
Okay.
not a small hospital which we are going to work, and we only, if it is some other collaboration in
Hmm.
some other college, they may confine to some small hospitals, and
Okay.
the variety of diseases we observe in those hospitals will be very less.
Okay.
And when we go to such a special super specialty hospitals and which are well developed of extreme range,
Hmm.
then we will have a lot of exposure to different kinds of diseases, and we'll get to know how the treatment patterns are going on in that specific disease areas in the current setting. We'll directly observe the patients, we'll directly observe the treatment patterns, we'll get to know that instead of reading that in the books or internet. We directly observe that. So that is the advantage of pharmacy practice in
Okay.
NIPER Mohali.
Okay, okay. I think Ravi sir has told about many things. Like in this interview, we are just not talking about only the subject name. We're actually going deep into it. We're trying to understand, their various opportunities and scope. And he also mentioned about HOER. So I think you should be reading about on Google what is HOER, and because like I'm also part of NIPER Mohali, and many things are growing here. Like this, many companies, like we'll be talking about the companies also. Like there's a company, Syneos. Syneos Healthcare works in this like domain only, HUER. So you should be gathering your beforehand knowledge in order to join the different NIPER. So what's the special thing that differentiate a pharmacy practice from other branches, which you feel okay? My branch is different from others.
Yeah, definitely, I can talk about that.
Hmm.
Yeah, as I said, instead of just looking at the molecular level, when we take biotechnology or some other pharmacologies, the what we look at is we look at the molecular level or we look into the preclinical level, which is
Okay.
not at all related to the patients. We read about the treatments in the pharmacology books or therapy books, but we only read that. We don't actually look at it, what actually happens there. So the best opportunity to learn in pharmacy practice is that we look into the clinical setting directly in person. So you learn that, you learn about the clinical part of treatments directly from the hospitals. That is one advantage. And
Hmm.
one thing that actually differentiates pharmacy practice from other departments is what I have
Hmm.
told about the HEOR.
Hmm.
HEOR is nothing but health economics and outcomes research.
Yeah.
Here, everything's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All good.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That special part I'm gonna talk about is that, you see, when it comes to a wet lab work, we
Hmm.
work in the laboratory and we find out all the analytical and preclinical level data for a new treatment or for an existing treatment. But there is another set of data that is required for the regulatory approvals or for even HTA approvals.
Okay.
You also can record this word HTA because these
Hmm.
are new terms, but you should know about when you
Hmm.
are getting into pharmacy practice. Uh, for that part, we also need some new set of data, that is clinical data, and the other one is other than that there is one more thing called economic data,
Hmm.
clinical and economic data. So in this pharmacy practice department, we'll get to know how the clinical data is actually gathered from clinical trials and from real world evidence. I think some of you are well aware of real world evidence. Real world evidence is actually in boom now,
Yeah.
along with HEOR. So
Yeah.
all these data collected from real world evidence, clinical trials and economic studies will be
Hmm.
collected and submitted to regulatory authorities and to the HTA bodies. So this
Hmm.
is another set of data which we require for a new treatment, a pharma company requires. All this work is involved in HEOR domain and all, including real world evidence also. All this we have for conducting this kind of work for real world evidence studies or clinical trials. We have that in our pharmacy practice curriculum. How to do that? How to conduct a real world evidence
Hmm.
study? How do the clinical trials are conducted? How to interpret the results from those studies? And how an economic evaluation is conducted? And how all these are going to be used in regulatory submissions or HTA submissions. This is all desk work. It is not a wet lab work.
Okay.
So this is what that differentiates pharmacy practice from other departments. All the other departments are of analytical level and
Hmm.
preclinical level. And after that, the next step in new drug development process is clinical level and HTA submission levels. These are the last two parts of a new drug approval process. This is what involved in our curriculum, how to do that and how to interpret the results of clinical studies and the next economic studies. This is
Okay.
what makes pharmacy practice different from other departments.
Okay. So I think I was gonna ask you one question like, what are the job roles? Like in pharmaceutical management, we go for the domain like domain of consultant or analyst. So I think you talk a lot about the scope thing, but if you have to give a title to the
Yeah.
job role, so what are those in like pharmacy practice?
I can say that the job roles that the pharmacy practice students are well apt for, or one is medical writing,
Hmm.
the second one is HUR, as I said, HUR.
Hmm.
Third one is real world evidence. You see, for example, if you get into a LinkedIn page and find the jobs related to HUR, real world evidence, or medical writing, you will see three different domains in one company, or sometimes companies may have either one of those domains. So,
Hmm.
for example, Cineos, you Akash was talking about Cineos. Cineos has medical writing wing and HUR wing. And
Yeah.
for some other companies, for example, Eversana,
Hmm.
Eversana has HUR, real world evidence, and medical writing, all the three domains. So these three domains are actually kind of core domains for pharmacy practice students.
Okay.
And if I want to talk about the placement, now what I have talked is the are the domains that are core to pharmacy practice.
Hmm.
And the other part about placements, Akash he's already the alumni of NIPER Mohali. He must be having idea about placements. And but I would also bring it out. Placements in NIPER Mohali are mostly for all the departments. So most of the companies that come to NIPER Mohali, they don't actually ask for specific department unless until it is a R&D. Unless
Yeah.
until it is related to R&D, QA, QC, they don't actually ask for any department.
Hmm.
So the students who come to NIPER Mohali are will have ample amount of opportunities to sit in any type of job role, and no one has to hesitate that I am not suitable for this job. Everyone is suitable for every job.
Okay.
Everyone can sit in any of the interviews. This is one advantage of NIPER Mohali. That's
Yeah.
it.
So basically, what Ravi is trying to tell you is that there are many companies approaching the NIPER Mohali, and you can sit in any company. Like regarding Q and QC, it's only for pharmaceutical analysis or Sutix branch. But when different companies approaches, like ZS approaches and EvalueServe approaches, IQVIA approaches. So these companies are approaching basically all the departments. So basically, you're not left behind. And there are also two type of job roles, mainly core and consultancy. In core and consultancy, you go deeper into that, but it's core and consultancy, and you can sit into both of the things because I think it also depends on your personality. If you are a ground person, then core. If you are more analytical or like to solve problems, then consultancy. If you are like a mixture of both, then he can go for both things. So there are ample of opportunities waiting for you in NIPER Mohali, and you should go for that. Uh, Next question that I want to ask you, like I always ask, like we are talking about a lot of information right now, but what is the one thing that you liked about NIPER Mohali from your personal view? Like you
NIPER
loved about
Mohali. So
NIPER
it is
Mohali?
about the
Yeah.
college then.
Sorry.
Okay. The best thing in NIPER Mohali is the diversity.
Okay. Okay.
Diversity in culture. So you will get to interact with a number of students from different cultures. I am
Hmm.
a student. I am a person. But personally, I am from South India. I am from Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
I never spoke Hindi before. I don't have any idea about Hindi. The only language I manage here is with English. After coming here, I've been in touch with Bengalis, Gujaratis, Marathi people. Everyone is here. All the India is here. You can meet everyone. And you see, when you are meeting students from different cultures and different diversities, it is not just the culture you are learning, it is the
Hmm.
different mindsets. People from specific places are already adapted to that kind of mindset. when you see a person who is actually adapted to very rough situations, and he can manage whatever the problem that he face, by observing such kind of people you will also think, okay, in this situation I can solve the problem like this, I can handle the situation in this way, there is an option.
Hmm.
And in the same way, when you see a different person in the similar situation, you may observe that person behaving in a different way. So in what NIPER Mohali actually gives you is the opportunity to see different kind of people and opportunity to learn how to solve the situations, how to handle the situation. This is one advantage of NIPER Mohali. And second thing, of course,
Hmm.
everyone likes a big campus which actually has a lot of facilities, not just the lab facility. Of course, you can see the videos in YouTube, documentaries about NIPER Mohali.
Yeah.
All the departments have all the required lab facilities. And of course, for pharmacy practice, we don't have lab. I told you it is not a wet lab; it's completely clinical part. So it is all about the hospital part. So these are the two things I like the most in NIPER Mohali. One is the diversity, and the second one is the campus, the environment we have here.
ओके, दैट्स ग्रेट। तो मतलब हिंदी सीख रहे हो? हिंदी सीख रहे
Exactly.
हो?
Yes. ये सीख रहा हूँ तो थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ आता है
हाँ।
बोलने के पूरा नहीं आता
Yeah, so like uh, taking this interview as a medium, I would also like to request the South guys, like थोड़ा हिंदी सीखो है, because in Hyper Volley you need it.
Exactly.
Yeah, as a compulsory, it's not compulsory that you should be learning, but yeah, if you learn it, it's totally fun. You can interact with a lot of people without Hindi also, but yeah, I think थोड़ा language issue रहता है, but since Ravi has mentioned diversity is the main like beautiful thing here. So but try to learn little bit, like it's my opinion, थोड़ा सीखो है ना। ठीक है, तो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट आई वांट टू आस्क यू इज दैट कि मतलब मेरे पास एक्चुअली क्वेश्चंस खत्म हो गए हैं, क्योंकि इतनी सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन एक्चुअली रवि हैज ऑलरेडी गिवन। आई वांटेड टू आस्क अबाउट द स्कोप, आई वांटेड टू आस्क अबाउट द जॉब रोल्स, everything is mentioned earlier only. So I think I am really grateful to Ravi that he covered all the topics in like few questions only. So, what is the main message that you want to give to all the future generations that are approaching NIPER? Doesn't matter it's Mohali or any other uh, campus. So, what's the message that you want to give them?
Okay, the best message I can convey to the juniors or the ones coming new students.
Hmm.
Many of the students who are getting into the NIPER Mohali, they'll have only two things in their mind.
Hmm.
One is what are the jobs we'll get there, how much will they pay us. The
Hmm.
second one is what are the PhD opportunities there. Only the students look into these two ideas. They have these two things in their mind.
Hmm.
So for first thing, what I can suggest you is that do not think about the jobs. Everyone will get a job. By the end of the day, everyone will get a job. This is what everything that matters is what you like. Some students want to work in analysis. They are passionate about that work,
Hmm.
maybe working on spectrometric analysis or working on chromatographies.
Hmm.
They might be passionate about that. Or some other students are like me who are interested in clinical part.
Hmm.
Instead of looking into the theoretical work or laboratory work, they may like clinical part, who work in clinical settings. It is all what we like. End of the day, it doesn't matter. Some of the students work in analysis and they get into consulting work, and even the students working in my department also like to work in consulting jobs. There is nothing wrong in that, and there is nothing we are losing there. This is one thing about the students who have a dilemma what kind of branch to select for jobs. For jobs, no one have to worry about it. It's all in our hands. It's all what about what we like there. The
Hmm.
second thing, PhD opportunities.
Yeah.
Whenever a student coming to the campus for PhD, for keeping the PhD in the mind for the coming years, in the coming years, they can directly talk to the faculty, their guides, and they'll let the students to follow in that direction, so that the students by the end of the second year will get a PhD opportunity in their hand. I have seen many students in the NIPER Mohali having 2 to 3 offers from two or three different universities by the end of the third semester. By and now, right now, I can name many students who have two more than 2 3 university offers. It is
That's great.
possible, but for that we have to make up our mind in the beginning itself. If we want to go for PhD, we should stick to that. That's one more thing.
Okay.
These are the two advices I can give you.
Yeah. So I think one question arising from that only that uh, you have two options, corporate or
Mm,
you can go for the PhDs. So when you're joining
yes.
pharmacy practice in NIPER Mohali, so what's the best thing that you can do? Although it depends on the person to person that people want to go for PhD also, but what's the best thing that you can do considering you belong to that background only?
Yeah, as you said, it varies from person to person, the option to select job or PhD. But one thing I can suggest is that first of all, it's better to go for a job,
Hmm.
because it depends on the person's economic status also.
Hmm.
If they are economically good, they can directly get into the PhD position, and if not, then directly getting into the job role, working there for 1 or 2 years. People usually do this method. They work for 1 or 2 years and they save money. They continue their work in this time and they'll opt for the PhD options. This is one. And when I talk about my department, I actually came with an idea to get a job here.
Hmm.
PhD was not in my mind at that time.
Okay.
But if you want to go for a PhD in the pharmacy practice department, the best option is, as I said, informing the faculty that you are interested in PhD, so
Hmm.
that the project work you will get will be used for your PhD offers. And
Hmm.
then PhD options in India for pharmacy practice are actually not up to the mark. Almost 99.9% of these students that go with the pharmacy practice in masters, they choose the PhD options in the foreign, either in US, Australia, or somewhere else. Of course, many other departments also do the same. They actually focus on foreign PhD opportunities. So that's the one thing I can tell you about my department. Looking for PhD options in foreign, and
Hmm.
most of those PhD options are like working on a PhD project in real world evidence or health economics. These are the two areas where PhD options are good for pharmacy practice students.
Yeah, actually,
That's it.
one day, like I was talking to Vijay from Pharmaceutical Analysis Branch, and he told me about the
Okay.
LOR, the letter of recommendation is very strong from NIPER Mohali.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
if you want to, be in NIPER Mohali, and from that you want to go to foreign, so there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity. The recommendation power of NIPER Mohali is very strong and very vast. So yeah,
Yes. Very.
yeah, so I was totally amazed by that. Okay, you can get into USA. He was talking about the Europe also. So there were many things that he
Yeah.
mentioned
Exactly.
about. Yeah. So I think we have got a lot of information from you, Ravi, today, and I think it will help the students in future generations who will be approaching NIPER, who will be preparing for Gpat and NIPER in coming years, right after 10 years, because this will be on YouTube uh, permanently, and it will totally guide the students. And I really want to thank you, like, for sparing time for me and whole Pharma audience family so that they can be guided in the right direction. Really want to thank you for this.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to join you in the call also. Welcome.